Hello, Galaxy. I'm Chris Pirillo, and I'm happy you were able to join us for another live edition of the Locker Room Daily Reports, TLDR for short. I am running late and totally lost track of time today, not realizing that it is now a little after 7 o'clock p.m., 7 p.m. Pacific. This is the time what we generally found has been best for doing TLDR on live.pirillo.com. I say that even though we are broadcasting live on Twitch. I say live.pirillo.com because inevitably that will always redirect to wherever we happen to be streaming live at the time. We do have a few people who have joined us in stream playing video games, and including Diana. She's playing a mobile game on her Android device right now and streaming her screen by way of 5G, which is great to see. Normally I'd be joined by both Glendon and CNOOP. CNOOP may be running late as well, but that's okay. Everyone, has their own lives. The world does not revolve around me. The way that we'll just keep doing this is me sharing the articles that I found. Now, we planned on punting on today's deals anyway, potentially sharing them tomorrow, potentially sharing them Monday. TLDR at this stage being Monday through Friday. These are all being archived on YouTube. My Legacy Chris Pirillo Live YouTube channel is where they've been planted. After TLDR, we're going to be talking about Glendon. Yeah, he's in the middle of tornadoes, and he made note of that like way. No, he's not. Wait, hang on. There's a wild Glendon. Is he surviving? Hang on, is he? Wait, we may have Glendon in the field, literally in a field, chasing after a tornado. Where's Mike when you need him? Mike's a storm chaser. We're going to see a storm chase happen live on this channel at some point in the future. Almost
I don't know
guaranteed.
if you can hear me, but it's really windy out here.
I can hear you. You're supposed to go. Okay, you talk, Glendon.
Guys, it's been really windy out here. I can barely see anything. I can't hear. Chris, are you with me?
Yeah, I'm here. That's high quality sound effects there. That's how you know it's real. So you're surviving?
Yeah, the power just came on. It's been off for hours.
So we may lose you again.
No, I don't think so. It seems like that it's passed through, and the utility trucks have already gone through the neighborhood. So.
Oh, you say that now?
Yeah, true. I'm just trying to be optimistic.
Okay, well let's hope for the best. I've not been through a tornado warning, having to go to the basement in years. I think there have been times that I've even gone back to visit Iowa, and like tornadoes have happened. I'm like, really? Yeah, you want to know, man. Iowa weather. Oof.
Yep.
Let me tell you. There were sound effects that used to play on television that would give me panic attacks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for real. Like there was one. I doubt it was ever archived. Someone probably had, but like it would interrupt programming, right? And go it's like it spun me out big time.
Wow.
Yeah, tornadoes were a big fear of mine. That was probably my biggest fear as a kid. Now my biggest fear is being able to make it to Monday every week. That's adulting.
Yeah.
Tornadoes are at least my worries. I could handle a tornado. Monday, not so much. You know why? Because a tornado, it's impacted me. But personally, I've been frightened of them. I've gone to the basement, but I'm very blessed. Knock wood. That it's never directly impacted me, or potentially, in any personal way. But like Mondays, oh yeah. Mondays, you just can't. You can't avoid tornadoes. You can avoid. Just move to a different part of the country.
That's true.
And people are always saying, "Hey, Chris, why don't you relocate?" I'm like, "Can you find a place that is free of natural disaster?" That's where I'd relocate. They don't exist. They just don't exist. I'm a natural disaster. That's I think what people are saying when they suggest I relocate, and I say that there's no place. I just need to click my heels. What was that? Was the clearing of the throat because I made uncomfortable silence there, Glendon, or did you legitimately?
No, I legitimately cleared my throat.
I'm checking. So to reset where we are, TLDR, Locker Room Daily Report. Now that we've had this banter, I do want to dive into the news because after this, as I said, Mystery Goat, we had planned on doing a Picard talk, at least with the most recent episode. There's definitely a lot to talk about with that. So I found a few articles. I was kind of surprised. Friday's usually a slow news day. I want to bring them in on stream, but if I bring them in on stream as I normally do, I would knock Diana out, and she's currently playing a mobile game, so I just as soon elevate people playing games on stream than you just watching a static web page. So hopefully you feel that. Mighty Bean notes, and he's here in Seattle as well. You can go to the basement and wait out on Monday too. That's true. I could do that. I probably should. I plan on it now. Thank you for changing my plans a few days. Can we make it a 3-day weekend? How about we all just decide it's a 3-day weekend? Just for grins. If you want to follow along, you can pop over to Discord. I post or we post any links that are being shared with TLDR in one of the channels. For Tech News, I think it has the TLDR designation on that Discord server or the Discord server. So you don't have to miss a thing. Don't worry or be concerned about where to find these articles. That's where you will find them. And you can certainly search on Discord as well in case they happen to kind of fly off of the most recently posted list. First thing I was going to share was actually posted to Google because it's research coming out of Google. High-resolution image reconstruction with latent diffusion models from human brain activity. So what they've done, the infamous they, have effectively combined stable diffusion with images from the brain. Like, if you are presented an image, like you see an image and your eyes perceive an image of, let's say, a teddy bear, right? What happens is there's a decoder that happens between the brain and the software that fuses basically what your mind sees or what your eyes pick up and your mind translates in stable diffusion and effectively retranslates it. All right, y'all get me? You understand what's happening? It's reconstructing visual images from the brain, through your eye into the brain, through a computer, through stable diffusion. So there's a teddy bear in front of you. Zip. What it does is effectively it's processing what you're seeing. You know, the idea, and when I say processing, I mean really reprocessing and bringing to using your brain as a filter, using your eyes as a filter, and creating something new and unique in stable diffusion based upon the information that was provided it through your eyes, through your brain. There's a more scientific way of explaining all this, but it's effectively denoising to the point, and that's because that's the whole process with stable diffusion, right? In AI, denoising to the point where the what they've produced in this research is incredibly compelling. So incredibly to the point. I'm not going to say it's going to happen in our lifetime. I foresee a time. I do. Based on this research, have you ever wondered, like, what would it be like to rewatch a dream, Glendon?
Yeah, I knew where you were headed with this. That would be... my mind can't even fathom it, just to be honest with you.
Imagine capturing a dream. And
wow.
If we're there with images, and it's not, one-to-one, it's 50%, maybe 40%. It's loose, but it is enough. If you look at this article, if you look at the images, the presented images that the brain sees, right? The mind sees, or the mind translates, I should say. The eye sees, the mind translates, and then reconstructed through the process of stable diffusion. It's
well, not just dreams. What about memories?
Everything. There was it was either Black Mirror or Electric Sheep, which runs on Amazon. It's Black Mirror-esque, that basically has that. Like you wear things and you can rewind using a hand controller to a certain period of time to pick up memories, right? This is not just memories, because you can record video right now for memories. I mean, maybe not like prolifically, but specifically dreams, which otherwise are gone. You have them and they're gone. Can you imagine being able to rewatch your dreams?
No,
I mean, it is now, I think, within our grasp. I don't want to say my lifetime, but the way that, man, I'm telling you, AI is advancing seemingly at breakneck speed. Like, all of a sudden, the AI gloves are off. That's AI right now. Like,
Yeah.
it's incredible what I've seen in relation to AI, but specifically like tangible, like usable product from AI based upon research that, you know, is decades old. So this is imagine having a dream and having a contraption that captures the dream to go back and rewatch it, but also rehear it, right? Because that's your images, right? So the images are going to be loose, they're going to be fuzzy, but you also might remember dialogue that you have in dreams, things that were spoken, things that were said. If you can think of the word, right? If I think the word, let's say computer, right? Then the word exists because I think it and then I say it. So that, if they can capture this, they can capture that. So imagine having a transcript of your dreams. Man, I mean, it sounds silly. It sounds outlandish. It sounds out of this world. But man, it's happening. I'm telling you, it's happening. I'm all for it. I mean, you know, if you said, "Oh, Chris, well, it's a machine that can capture your dreams." How much would you pay for that, Glendon? I mean, if you had the money to burn, how much would you pay?
Oh, just anything. If I had the money to burn, I would just pay whatever it costs.
Would you pay $1,000?
Yeah,
I'd pay
I would.
1,000.
I'd pay $1,000 for that easy.
I'd pay 1,000. No doubt in my mind. Zero doubt in my mind. Oops, sorry. I did the wrong. I was trying to tweak. Diana dropped off the radar here, so I'm able to flip over to bring the other shot in. Give me a second here.
Imagine
bearing with
this technology in other ways as well, like people that have lost their eyesight.
Oh, right. Well, that's happened.
Yeah,
macular degeneration is a thing, and people have been able to.
My grandmother has macular degeneration, so even if it's seeing memories, like I said, you know, for someone, if they're not even able to regain vision, but if they could somehow see that through the machine, that enables them to process it like a dream. I don't know. This technology is crazy.
Look at it. Look, I was able to finally bring the browser in. Here's the reason why, y'all. I really hate this layout. I hate the 7 layout. I hate it. I loathe it. So yeah, that's why Mr. Goat said, "Quick, someone start playing a game." Because I'd rather have 8 or 6 or 9 or 5. But this layout is not my favorite at all. So that's why I will like remove the wrong one there, and just keep it to 6. So yeah, this is actual data that was reconstructed after running through all those filters, which is just incredible to me. Where technology has been, where it is, and where it's going, so fast.
Bring that up to the big screen.
I mean, this is just, it's just, you look at the teddy bear example. It's just like, what? Like, if you were able to dream, and you dreamed of a teddy bear, right? Even if you had an approximation of what it was, like, there are times, and this is a weird thing, I'll have a dream and it'll be vivid, and I might remember it, but I won't remember it again until I'm ready to go to sleep again, and then it comes back to me. It's weird how that happens sometimes. So I know, like, I have memories of dreams. They're there. They are absolutely there, locked away, tucked away somewhere. This useless information, but it would just be. I feel just it would be enthralling to be able to capture that. For me, I don't think anyone else is going to want to watch somebody else's dream necessarily, although it'd be pretty wild. Our subconscious does, a lot of this, it does what it does. But for me to be able to potentially revisit, I'm like, I remember dreaming something and try to explain it and to see it again and to relive it in that way is, to me, really, this is interesting. This is fascinating to me. Absolutely fascinating. Combining technology with our own technology, like the technology that we've made, dovetailing it into the technology that we didn't make, but that was that was specifically generated, right? So this is a stable diffusion with brain activity, not just visuals, right? This is brain activity. We are there. This isn't theoretical. This has happened. This has happened. Just, man, like I'm shocked that this has not hit the headlines bigger than it did. Honestly, this research being released, because this is just mind-boggling. Like, we can't even fathom what we are on the precipice of in relation to combining the power of our brain with the power of an artificial brain. And that's dangerous. We've talked about the dangers too, but this is just, it's captivating. Like, this is going to get productized. What that looks like, I'm not sure. But absolutely fascinating to me. Absolutely fascinating. Liz, you can't have the drugs because it's not a drug. It is computers. Which, I mean, some would argue that computers are a drug. It is true. Moving on, unless Glendon, you had anything else to add there. I was blown away.
No,
I was
I'm
like,
just
what?
Just after you brought the images up and I actually got to see what you were talking about, that blows my mind. I can't even fathom the technology that we have in front of us right now.
Dude, like I said, it's exciting, but it's scary simultaneously.
Very, very scary.
So we're gonna move now since we're kind of in the realm of well, I'm not gonna say AI isn't exactly VR, but Meta, aka Facebook, has, and I think they're gonna slowly but surely start backing away from that, if only because Zuckerberg has basically diminished the talk around the metaverse. Like, it's completely, almost, Facebook is pretty much stopped, not wholesale, but has pretty much decided, okay, we're going to talk about something else. We're going to talk about AI. We're going to see a lot more AI coming out of Facebook at some point in the near future, because that's tangible. It's something that is actionable, as opposed to the metaverse, which is largely how do I say practical, right? There are applications that have a direct and immediate impact. AI is not just a buzzword. It works and it's real. So if you were in the market for a Quest Pro or a Quest 2, they're getting significant price cuts at this point in time. I believe the Quest Pro, which is more for business class users, dropping from $1,500 to $1,000, so losing 33%. And the Quest 2, at least the 256 gig version, is dropping from $500 to $430. So might be worth picking up if you're interested. I'm not, because I'm not into VR. Not my thing. Not at this time. AR for sure. Headsets, maybe, but no. VR, I feel that I'll be very happy to see everyone else continue with it. Personally, I'm gonna wait until I'll wait until. Wait, hang on. Let's see if I can make it fit with cadence. I hope that something better comes along. Anybody get the reference?
Yes, I got it.
Glendon, what was it?
It's
Just get. You don't have to name it in general. Do you remember? I'm putting you on the spot. I know.
No, not in general. I remember hearing
the song.
The song, yeah.
Okay, it was Rolf from the Muppet movie.
That's it.
Something better comes along. Yep, that was Rolf. Moving right along. That was not Rolf though. No. Hey Mad Cat. You hope I'm feeling better. I am too. Was I feeling bad? I might have been feeling bad. Was I feeling
Either
weird?
way,
I kind of had a headache last night. Was I sick? I'm trying to remember. I was tired. I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah. No. All good. No, I was talking to my dad. And they're going to be visiting in that's an Italian talk. I was talking to my dad. For real. They're going to be visiting in April. You got to know my family, man. I mean, you kind of know my family. You've seen them in the vlogs potentially, but we get into it. We always end the call like, but that's being Italian. I don't know how to. I really wish I could explain Italian. I really do. I wish I could explain it. Mystery Goat says I wouldn't mind having one, but I would need a big PC upgrade first. But also at the price, I just don't feel it's something I need right now. Yeah, I definitely don't need VR. I would love to play through the Star Wars games for sure. For sure. That's why the funny thing is, Mad Cat thought I didn't even think it didn't even register to me. That's how how little of an impact it is. Like it's just it's like breathing to me, getting into something and like then just like all right, and then you've done it. It's you let it roll off the back and you move forward. I don't dwell on things. I really have to thank my Italian upbringing for that. I really genuinely do. There are people who hold on to that stuff indefinitely and it eats away at them, and they put on airs. I'm going to sidestep here, but they make it look and sound like everything's okay when it isn't, because they don't process in the moment and they don't work through it. And I learned for years when we were kids, we went to family counseling, right? Because the big word in the 80s was dysfunctional, right? Because we were always fighting, like my brothers and I, and the family, we were always not at each other's throats or whatever, but like, fighting. And we heard the word dysfunctional. We didn't know what that meant. Turns out the least dysfunctional people are the ones who process and the ones who talk about it. The dysfunctional people are the ones who lock it away, are the ones who act as though nothing is wrong. So I learned early on to process and just do it and say it and just present it and then move through it. Because otherwise you swallow it. And when you swallow that, it comes out in ways that you just don't want it to come out. You've got it, you address it head on. And that is so hard to explain to someone. Sorry, I realize this is not exactly a TLDR type of discussion, but when you don't explain that, or let me put it another way. There's a reason I can express myself as easily as I can. There's a reason I'm comfortable in front of the camera. There's a reason that I have no problem putting myself out there, because I'm used to it. I have no problem not holding back. It's harder for me to hold back, quite honestly, than it is for me to put something out there, especially if I feel it, right? So that's something that I've had to learn. It's easier. It's more natural for me, especially when it's like a loved one, right? So I was talking to my dad and we were getting into it, like about a variety of things. I'm dealing with, dad helps with finance stuff, and he has for quite some time. He was a former CPA, if not an active CPA. And he's helped with a lot of different things. And y'all know I'm going through changes with the job and having to figure out what next steps are going to be and options. And of course, he's my dad, so he's got opinions. And we're like, he thinks this, and I'm like, no, but that and this and that. So yeah, that happened. But it doesn't. I don't know. We can do it, but we don't, I guess, how do I say this? We don't take it personally. I don't know how else to explain it. I really don't. And it's hard to translate that, especially to someone who's never been involved with a heated discussion where you just don't take it so personally that it eats away at you. I'm used to it. I'm used to expressing myself. I find it very freeing, and I've learned that being as direct and honest about that, even if it hurts, even if it's painful to when you report the truth or report a truth to somebody else, it's better to do that than to dodge or weave around something, or to better at least be able to explain why you might have made a decision that you've made. Because ultimately, we all make bad decisions. We all do. Every single one of us. And sometimes those decisions impact other people without intention, with a greater intention, right? When you do something because you're thinking one thing, but another person was thinking something else, but you might not have communicated effectively, that impacts somebody else. And you're like, well, I was trying to do it for this reason. And this is why, and this is why. And then you get into explaining it, and then you try to move through it instead of being as defensive is the wrong word. Unless you've got a position that you absolutely want to hold, then you're like, no, this is what I believe, and this is why. If you see a bigger picture, to better be able to explain what that bigger picture is, sometimes it can be a challenge, especially when you're talking to someone you're close to, like a dad or like a father who's used to doing things a certain way. I'm like, yeah, but I can't do that because here are my parameters, and I can't just make that decision. We had the discussion about, well, okay, let's just gonna take a sidestep here with TLDR. I hope you don't mind this what do they call it? Side quest in gaming. Cost of living is painful. It's outrageous. It's bad no matter where you go. And all transparency, you know, I've been working for Intel. That job is coming to an end at the end of March. I've been trying to line up other things. You know, since then, I'm probably going back, you know, to full-time independence, full-time, you know, and having to pay all my bills on my own rather than, you know, through an employer. But I'm also looking for gainful employment, you know, and trying to find a position that isn't going to cut me off at the knees and allow me the freedom to continue to do what I've been able to do and build what I've been able to build, and continue to work on projects, you know, the way that you know, I've been working on them, but also not take that job without a pay cut is probably the wrong way to frame it. Intel has been fantastic. Honestly, it's been great. They've been great. I would take a position and keep a position at Intel if I had the choice. It's been that solid. But unfortunately, the rest of the industry is not Intel, and they don't have Intel's coffers, and they don't have Intel's budget. So I've had to do a lot of, you know, not just soul searching, but recalibration. And part of that is seeing, all right, well, what is it that I would want to do? Where is it that I need to be? What is it that I need to do? What is it that needs to happen? Like, I don't just want to take a job just to pay the bills. It would be soul crushing, right? If I could not do something that I found that I was connected to in one way, shape, or form, that would be painful to me. It would genuinely be painful. So I have to be very careful about any opportunity that is laid out there. And again, with transparency, I talked about this earlier. I did an interview with the Lego group and made it through to a round that likely would have led to a role. I turned it down before it got to that point because one of the requirements was relocation to an area that would have likely increased cost of living, would have eliminated you know, everything that I constructed here in the Seattle area. And I don't just mean friendships, relationships, whatever, because there are a few, but not that much. I'm in a position, at least in my current place, where I can weather out the storm. And when I say place, not just physical, geophysical home, but specifically in my life and everything that I've planned for, we're okay for now. I'm nothing's on fire, so to speak, apart from the front room needing still to be reconstructed from the pipe burst. As long as I'm able to balance and budget, etc. If I picked up and moved, I would have to pay that. I would have to pay for that move. It would likely be in, you know, it may not even be in a house. It would be in an apartment or a condo. So we'd lose space. We would increase our cost of living. I would have to go in a hybrid model, being on site 4 days a week, even though it would likely be a dream position to do what it was that I would be able to do. The idea of it was specifically, it just didn't add up. It really didn't add up. So, you know, I understand when someone says, "Oh, move somewhere else because it'd be cheaper to live," but with that comes other problems. Like you just because you're fixing one problem doesn't mean that you're not introducing others, right? You may be jumping out of the frying pan and into the fire, and part of that might be culturally, right? Because I feel that culturally, Jedi I feel that Jedi would have better opportunities in the Pacific Northwest than she might anywhere else. California is fine for opportunities, but the California, conversely, on a hybrid model, I'd have traffic in Southern California. I would have to deal with other problems. You know, I'm at an age where I have to start thinking about retirement. And I don't know if I want to get locked into California and like, well, where am I going to go from there? I'm going to stay in California for retirement with the cost of living being what it is, you know, not being able to turn that, you know, whatever I put in to where I am now into something else and losing all that velocity. It's not, it's a different story. So having those heated discussions with my dad, that's what you saw. That's what you saw, Mad Cat. So it wasn't me being anything than myself, other than myself. It wasn't us being engaged in a conversation other than that. It was just like, I can't just make these simple decisions. It's not as simple as, well, all you need to do is relocate. No, that's not as it's not as simple as it is. Well, I don't understand. Well, this is why. Let me explain all the reasons why it's not as simple for me to just solve all my problems by relocating to even to a place that has a lower cost of living. Because a place that has a lower cost of living likely has fewer opportunities. And with fewer opportunities, you know, then it becomes, then income won't necessarily, the income potential won't be as high, right? You introduce other problems, not just, you solve one problem, but you introduce other problems. So what you saw was not me feeling bad, not me feeling sick, not even me feeling pissed. It was me processing emotions and moving through it. That's why I was confused when you were asking. I was hoping I was feeling better. I'm like, I was feeling fine. I feel normal. You got to process shit, man. I'm sorry. I'm dropping the S-bomb. You got to process it. Process it and move on. Process it, see it, address it, move on. Fix the problem and move on. Thank you, Liev. Thank you for the follow. We're in the middle of TLDR. We were talking about VR, and Mad Cat thought that I was upset, and I didn't even think that I was. It's funny how that works, isn't it? Yeah. Every family's got a different dynamic. I will say that. Every family's got a different dynamic. I doubt that you have the same relationship with your father that I have with my father. I would assume. For better or for worse. And trust me, we have many things that we disagree on. Many things. Many things. And unfortunately, I don't have all the answers to the questions that he even has for me. I'm like, what do you want me to say? It's nuanced. It's not black and white. I can't just flip a switch, and it's not as simple as like, do this and then all the problems are solved. It's nuanced. You know, I've got a lot to consider. I got a lot of weight on my shoulders. Certainly right now. Never. It gets more, not precarious with every passing year, but that much more important. The closer I inch to retirement, I can't make these decisions like I did a decade ago. It's just, life is different. It's just different. So what you saw me wasn't a pissed Chris. That's why I was thrown off. Like, what are you talking about? It didn't even make any sense to me. Isn't that funny? How some people pick it up as something different than it actually was? Oh. Anyway, you can save money on VR headsets. How's that for a deep dive on that article?
It's deep.
Thank you, Glendon. I appreciate your feedback. You
can always count on me.
I know, man. You're vocal, man. First look at Google's Blink engine running on an iPhone. So this is something that seems to be coming at us sooner rather than later. Hey, Liev says, hey, Chris, watched your live streams as a kid, wicked long ago, 15 years ago. I've been at it for a while. Haven't left my chair since. When you were better known as Locker Gnome. Yeah, this is kind of like a Locker Gnome arcade, Liev. You can join and play video games, screen share, and geek out. I'm doing tech talks every night, or right around 6 or 7 o'clock. This is Friday. TLDR is happening. So you actually caught me in the middle of the Locker Gnome Daily Report. Glad you see you're still around and healthy that I know of. I think so. Is there an archive of those very old live streams? Yeah, there are on YouTube. Most of them are probably there. Either those two, or there's actually there's another Chris Pirillo Live has the archive of some recent live streams that I've done, including the Twitch live streams from the previous format, where we didn't have people joining actually in stream and playing video games at the same time. So yeah, yes is the answer to the question, and yes, I continue to move forward and do this because we've moved on. We've moved through story to story, and you know, wherever you're jumping in is always the right time to jump in. I would be shocked if you were able to catch up with anything, because there's so much that happens on a daily basis, so much. But it's good for you to know that I'm still doing it and geeking out 24/7, or at least my chair is. You know, my chair is older than some people watching right now. Google and I assume Firefox and beyond are soon going to be able to have their rendering engine on iOS. This is a departure from the way it has been with iOS, where Google has effectively been locked out, frozen out. Even Firefox has been frozen out of being able to run their own engine on their rendering engine, Blink being Chrome's underpinnings. I think Firefox is still Gecko. Safari is WebKit. I'm trying to remember if there are any others. KDE, I thought, had another rendering engine. It's been so long since I've thought about it. But either way, now there are suggestions that you'd be able to run basically a native Google Chrome application on iOS, which to me, or even Firefox on iOS, is amazing news. Let's just, you know, not talk about choice. That's an easy answer, but specifically competition, because Safari is it, right? WebKit is it on iOS. Like that's what you get. But without competition, you get a dramatically lesser possibility of improvements. So I would expect to see improvements coming down the pike, at least at some point in the near future, with something like that happening. Mad Cat's jumping on to Satisfactory. Kieran has jumped on. I assume MakerDeck must be full. Kieran's also the person who is instrumental in helping watch MakerDeck overnight. And he's also been able to keep an eye here, although I don't know if we have a lot of overnight streamers on this channel at this point. Liev says, okay, I'll have to dig around. No worries. Wanted to say thanks. Absolutely. Live streams help you get into technology. Oh, it's amazing. You work as a software dev. That's awesome. Good to see you, Monsoon Josh. Happy to have you here. We got a lot of live streams, including the one I'm doing right now, trying to jump from topic to topic, as I'm prone to do in any given broadcast. I try to keep it as focused as I can during TLDR, but we've taken some side quests tonight. Anything to add, Glendon, on the news of Chrome's Blink rendering engine coming to iOS?
So what kind of performance are we going to see from this? Are we going to see just all over the board better performance from, say, Chrome as a search engine? Engine on iOS?
Theoretically.
Okay.
Theoretically, I haven't seen it. Obviously, this is just kind of it hasn't been rolled out in any official capacity. I don't know if we're going to see it until the next iteration of iOS, but the idea would theoretically be you would see performance gains, and you would see like you'd be able to make a direct comparison of which one runs better on iOS.
Sure.
And that can directly translate into performance gains with Google Chrome cross-platform. So, for example, like what we covered in TLDR the other night, Google Chrome for Mac has been optimized to save battery life, to improve CPU spend, or processes to further improve performance. They've made a lot of changes with the current iteration, shipping iteration of Google Chrome that will trickle into performance gains on Windows, Android, and beyond. So they specifically did that on Mac OS because it was getting hit, and they wanted to be able to, as a marketing tactic, right, be able to say, well, Safari is not the only way to save battery life on browsing the web on a MacBook. You can also now use Chrome, and here are the changes we made. That could only happen because Safari was doing what it was doing. So for Chrome to be able to do what it does on Mac OS translates into gains beyond Mac OS because of the competition they have on Mac OS with Safari. So I'd expect to see that kind of happen in lockstep, well beyond. Good to see you, Diet Coke. Again, happy to have you here. I back channeled with you a few days ago. I'm not sure if I owed you a response, but Bing pretty much took the ball and ran with it, or I guess Microsoft took the ball and ran with it, based upon that conversation that we had. So yeah, expect from this performance and feature gains, not just on iOS, but well beyond. Ah, thank you. What is that? Falkunk? Am I saying that right? I'm not even sure how to say half these dang handles that come across my radar. Very happy to have you there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're in the middle of TLDR, the Locker Gnome Daily Report we do every weekday. Talk about today's news and may get into the tech deals as well. Although, I don't know if Glendon is it depends on how Glendon's weather is as to whether or not we get into the tech deals. But even if we don't, you can check not just the news articles, but also the latest tech deals on our Discord server, which I assume you've already joined if you follow the channel. Oh, no, I do not want to save 25% on the information. I did want to highlight this. Come on, it's a day that ends in Y. Oh, thank you, Birdman. Thank you for triggering join. It is good that you have been participatory. It's great to have seen you after all these years, and great to have something for you to join in on as well. Let me move this over here for our StreamYard banner. Oh, by the way, yeah, look. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to be able to extend this to the rest of our Locker Gnome team and our MakerDeck team, but I've got MakerDeck swag. I've got. So there's always, because StreamYard sponsors both this stream as well as MakerDeck. They've supported the Locker Gnome effort, pretty much made it possible for us to do what we do. So very, very grateful for that. I mean, I'm not usually a swag guy. But in conjunction with their sponsorship, this is what they had sent along, and I'm trying to make it so that we can get that to the other team members as well. It's a day that ends in Y. It is tech news, so guess what? We're talking about Twitter. Musk delayed paying Twitter's Amazon cloud bill, sparking ad threats. So do you get that? Last month, Amazon threatened to withhold payments for advertising everything on Twitter, because Twitter refused to pay its AWS bills for months. So, shock. Elon, is he the world's richest guy? Right? He knows what he's doing, right? I guess he knows how to not pay bills. Apparently, yeah, that happened. So I'm not shocked at all. Burn, good to see you. Hope you're having a happy Friday. How's it going? Not anymore. What? Not anymore. What? Who? When? What's going on? Yeah. This doesn't surprise me. I've been warning everybody for months. Got to treat Twitter as a backup network. Find a new home. Find a new foundation. Find a new happy place. Because it's falling apart at the seams. It might come back together again. It might get worse, but I'm not going to promise. I don't think anybody can promise it's going to get better. Forget about quitting Twitter and doing the dramatic thing and just say, oh, I'm quitting Twitter. No, just understand it's not what it used to be. It is absolutely not what it used to be. What does it say? Can his Twitter actually pay the bills? Probably not. Tell you what, I will pay Twitter. I'll pay him $8 a month. I have no problem with that. If they give me something that's worth $8 a month. Right now, a blue check, so to speak, is not worth $8 a month, because all I'd be doing is verifying that I have $8 a month. What's the point? There's no point at all. He lost his richest guy status, but I think he got it back, Burn. I'm pretty sure he got it back. So in terms of alternatives, there are plenty out there. You got to choose, whichever fits you. I've been happy with Mastodon. I'll beat that drum. Because it's non-algorithmic, right? Otherwise, you're talking about algorithmic content again and algorithmic social networks again, and I'm not a fan. Tumblr might be a decent backup for it, although it's not quite the same, not as conversational, certainly as Mastodon at all. But yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing. They didn't want to pay their bills to Amazon, but it was the threat of pulling out of advertising that ultimately, solved the problem. Shock, money. The world, a lot of the world's problems, I'm telling you, so many of the world's problems could be solved if we didn't have to worry about money. Housing, food security, future, it's everything. If we didn't have to worry about money. Money is in everything. Money is in absolutely everything. We just had this conversation last night, did we not, Glendon? You didn't.
Yeah.
You couldn't get a word in edgewise between
Nope.
CNUP and I.
But there was the conversation.
Good to see you, Silver Sunbeam. Hope you're doing well. I saw you. You were also over on Maker Deck as well, at least earlier, which is fantastic. My Prusa Mini is down. I'm still waiting for my parts to come in. I'm surprised it hadn't shipped in a week. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you survived your first ever tornado watch. Wow. Dude, I've dealt with tornadoes since before I could speak. Dude, that's horrible. Tornadoes are not fun.
No, not at all.
And you don't, by the way, just Silver Sunbeam in case nobody told you, you don't actually need to watch. You don't need to open the blind and watch. It's just kind of like not a warning, but it's a pre-warning. So don't actually feel like you need to open a window and go and look out the window. Yeah, not fun. Glendon went through it today too.
I did.
You went through watches or warnings?
Warnings after
Warnings.
the watch. Yeah, there was one that touched down, I don't know, probably 25 miles from here.
That's close. Too close for comfort.
Yeah.
Dorozen says, oh, now you tell me that. Well, this is the reason you tune in. Tune in for tips. I'll show you I'm going to show you my tips. Where'd all my viewers go?
Did anybody else hear those crickets?
Yeah. Those aren't crickets. Those are nipples.
Oh.
You couldn't hear them. You can't hear my nipples. If you could hear my nipples, man, I don't know what you're drinking, but I hope it's legal where, over there. All right. So, anyway, yeah, with it, I don't even know. How the hell did we get on the topic we got on? Never mind. I mean, I know how we got there, but we're so far away from that article at this stage. Hang on. We have an announcement. Thank you, Monsoon Josh. I appreciate the cheers here. And I also saw that you had cheered on Maker Deck. Very appreciated. I wasn't able to say that the last time you cheered on this channel because I was AFK. I very much appreciate that. I thought you were going to give me a tornado warning. This is a Bitsnado warning. Bitsnado. That's what they should have called it. Bitsnado. No, that's it. I'm replacing my hot end, Silver Sunbeam. Andrew, I can say Andrew more easily than I can Silver Sunbeam at this point. My parts fro, my mini? No, I just cut my hair. What are you saying, fro? It just got cut. I just cut it. My hot end is it was done. You sent me a no, the whole thing, stem to stern. I don't think it was the whole thing. You sent the replacement, but I don't think it was the whole thing. I saw it and I'm like, that's just part of the thing. I need the whole thing. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, anyway, I got a new part coming in. Brand new one. I swear, I looked at the part and I'm like, I think this is just part of the thing that I need to replace. Because I went through all the parts. I keep all the parts in one box. spare parts because I had the hot end, but it's like the whole apparatus, like the whole everything. I'm not gonna. I just got to make it as simple as I possibly can. And I already know I'm gonna screw it up.
No,
I already know I'm gonna screw it up. Speaking of screw up, scientists now want to create AI using real human brain cells. See, so you understand that?
Wow.
You understand that? You see what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
And F200 bits NATO just coming in. Is that what it is? Yes, it's an EF2 on the Fujitsu scale. Is that what it was? Thank you, Josh, for the mini bit NATO. Wasn't this how Brainiac started? See, I don't know enough about the fandom to tell you that's how Brainiac started. It was the heat sink, heater, thermistor, and heat break. I'll have to look again. Maybe not. I know Silver Sunbeam. That's exactly what Glendon said. But don't Revos also have other issues, like beyond the just the replacement? Are there other things that might be of a concern?
Not with mine. I've not had any issues.
Because I went looking for the research. Yeah, y'all don't have y'all don't have problems, but y'all aren't me. Y'all don't seem to find the problems that I find. Like, I always find the weird problems, man.
The Revo to me was the solution to the problem because it didn't have to deal with the PTFE tube in the heat break.
Okay, the next time I need to replace my hot end, I will go. I promise. Then I will go Revo.
Cool.
How does that sound?
Sounds good.
I mean, honestly, Glendon, if you would have said it, because I don't think you suggested it. You suggested it, I think, after I got it, but you didn't know until after.
Right.
And I talked to Krusty. Krusty might have recommended it too, but I said, I don't think this is right, and he's like, no, that's not right. So yeah, that was that's how that turned out. So I have it on order, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna replace it and be good at least for the next year or so. Should a Revo wind up in my lap, I probably would swap out from there. But Revo is a product from a company, correct? That's E3D?
E3D.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, I got that right. I swear, maybe did they? Give me a second. I thought one of the marketing people from E3D at one point had followed. I'll write it down. I will write it down. I don't know if I can find that marketing person again because we don't interact anymore. This is like a year or two ago, before MakerDeck. Because you're not the only one to recommend Revo. You're not the only one. Just use the revised mount that recycles your original hot end fan. Argle garble gooble gloop. Boggle. Like in fringing bottom. That's the fan. Cool. I could do that. Mystery Goat. See, I have to tell you, man, if I don't have dummy instructions, I'm an idiot. When it comes to hardware, I'm an idiot. Universe doesn't want you streaming tonight. Can't get Discord to start. Can't get Discord. What do you need Discord to stream for? Mr. Goat's sitting on his hot end. Anyway, so scientists, we're talking tech, 3D printers for tech. Now want to create AI using real human brain cells. So this is fascinating, but again, this is where I come back to that. You know, the Jurassic Park what is his name? Malcolm, saying, you know, you were so busy doing it that you didn't pause to think. Well, I'm paraphrasing. Should we do it? Right? You didn't think, you know, should we do it? And this is a question. Should we do this? Move over artificial intelligence. Say hello to organoid intelligence. Organoid sounds cool. But this is getting a little scary. Fascinating. but absolutely scary. Oh, need Discord for the StreamYard link. Give me a second. I'll get you the StreamYard link. Let me DM it. Hang on, I got to get this to Mad Cat here. His Wait, are you on? You're on. I got you on Twitter. Give me a second. You're still on Twitter, yeah? How else can I get this to you? Actually, let me whisper it to you on Twitch. Whisper. Okay, Mad Cat. I've whispered it. No, it was a very intentional whisper.
I don't know. It sounded careless.
Careless would have been. Here's a whisper. Actually, that would have been more an angry whisper. Careless whisper a bit. My expression. See, we can solve this problem. If you got a problem, I'll solve it. Check out the beat while the Mad Cat revolves it.
Yeah. I was about to say the real words, but you threw me off.
Works too. I could have also gone with it while the Glendon revolves it. Oops, that's sorry. I flipped article. Where's my articles? There. Okay.
There it is.
Sorry. I got punch drunk with the clicky article browser thingy. I know we keep talking about AI, but I'm telling you, it's all over the news. I mean, in between this article and the one with the stable diffusion, basically being able to regenerate brain activity, this is just we're through the looking glass. I feel that's what we're staring down the barrel of, and that's what it feels like. We're staring down the barrel of AI, and we don't know what we're looking at. We don't know what we're playing with. It's like, so many movie plots are like, even Quantum Mania. Okay, wait, no, I don't want to spoil it. There are situations where people do something, and that they have unintended consequences. That's, I feel, where we are with AI. That we're doing things that are interesting, but ultimately could be leading to our downfall. Ultron, that might be a good example for sure. Yeah, it's awesome. It's fascinating. I'm glad scientists are experimenting with something like this, but it's also concerning. And maybe I've seen too many dystopian movies, dystopian future movies, right? Sci-fi, fantasy, and what have you. Yeah, the fact that they want to basically replicate us in a computer, we are, I feel, this close. If it hasn't already happened and I've missed the research, this close to getting to the point where we're going to be able to store ourselves in a computer indefinitely. Much like Upload. If you ever saw the series Upload on Amazon, right? Where we'll be able to upload our consciousness. Because what are we? We had this philosophical discussion the other day. We're nothing but bits and bytes. This brain, this gray matter is bits and bytes. It's a computer, right? It runs on electricity. It's data. It's memory. It's storage. We're not. So then, what's consciousness? Can consciousness exist in the digital realm? Will it? Can it? Don't know. Don't have the answer to the question. But yeah, I find these conversations absolutely fascinating. Certainly, I don't. Apart from being frightened, if you are, Glendon, do you have any reaction on this particular turn of events?
I think that we should tread lightly. I do feel that. I don't know. It is scary. And you talked about zero faith in humanity before to do the right thing, and this is just another example of what road do we take whenever we approach this technology further.
Silver Sunbeam notes he's hoping the AI stuff is a fad. Most of it isn't truly AI, just a lot of algorithmic curve fitting. I don't think it's a fad. I think the race is on. I don't think it's a fad. I don't think it's slowing down, and I don't think it's going to go away. I think it's here to stay. I think AI and ChatGPT effectively had an iPhone launch moment. The iPhone was a game changer. The iPhone catalyzed, you know, an entire industry, right? An entire change in how we operated with technology and our expectations with personal technology. It was a paradigm shift. ChatGPT has done the same thing. The exact same thing. And I'm not saying it's an iPhone, but in terms of a cultural shift, that's exactly what's happened. So no, it's not a fad. That's my position on the matter. And I feel that's a qualified opinion. And I don't say that about you know, many things. You know, having an iPhone moment is very rare. These moments in time that are just signal fundamental change, whether or not it's true AI or as you suggested, curve fitting with, you know, algorithmic tweaks. Either way, it's in the zeitgeist, and I don't see it disappearing anytime soon. So no, I do not see it as a fad. Not at all. It's here to stay. Once it's here, you cannot to take away. I'll put it this way: this morning, I had a practical use for ChatGPT. A neighbor and we were waiting for we were at the bus stop waiting for our kids to get picked up, and Jedi for school, she wore Avengers pants, and they have like little icons on them, like the Captain America shield or the Hulk fist or Iron Man. And there were a couple of other icons on there. I'm like, well, that's Black Widow because it's the hourglass, and the other one must have been Hawkeye. We were trying to figure out, and then the guy asked, well, who are the original Avengers? And he was ideating. He must have been a comic reader because he remembered all of them. And he went to Google, and immediately, instead of going to Google, because of course you go to Google and it's just a whole bunch of garbage, right? I was like, I'm gonna go to ChatGPT. Problem was there wasn't an app. I had to scroll through and get logged in again on mobile. I need a ChatGPT app, a native ChatGPT app, not a third-party ChatGPT app. I'm not going to install malware. I'm not going to install a third-party ChatGPT app. I just as soon use the web browser for that until then. Yeah, I'm amazed by what people have been able to do, what companies and businesses and startups have been able to do. We're going to see a lot more AI iterations and services come down the pike in the coming months, weeks, if not weeks, months, years, decades, and looking forward to it, because if things are done well, we're going to find massive improvements. And I'll come back to that because we've got a couple of other TLDR stories that could potentially be covered with this. I'm not familiar with what the Butlerian jihad is. You may have to explain that to me. I could ask ChatGPT, I suppose. Okay, so this is actually perfect timing because we're talking about how, you know, behaviors are changing. Even my own patterns are changing. I use ChatGPT. I'm not going to say once a day, but when I need to generate, or when I need to brainstorm, or I need to ideate, if I need to think through a process, when I need to write something and need you know, help, you know, kind of spinning it out or summarizing, I will go to ChatGPT. And ChatGPT is a great way of taking like a wall of text and basically summarizing it. I'll use it for that. Not always, and it doesn't always hit it out of the park, but it is very, very useful when you're trying to communicate. CNET, that I've known, we've all known CNET, or at least I've known CNET from the dawn of time, the dawn of the internet, doing big layoffs just weeks after AI-generated stories came to light. They're getting rid of a lot of the people that they had previously hired. Previously hired to basically do content. So what have I said? Hey, they're taking your jobs. AI's coming for your job, man. And you may think you're safe and sound. I don't know about that. And you're thinking, well, Chris, I sell product. I 3D print things and sell them. I'm like, yeah, but if people who have jobs to earn money to buy your product don't have the money to buy the product that you're making, you're not going to be able to sell. So you may not think that a butterfly flapping its wings over here isn't going to cause a hurricane over there, but that's how it's going to work. People are going to lose their jobs. They can't train for another position that can't be replaced. Forget ChatGPT. AI. ChatGPT, that's just tip of the iceberg stuff. AI in general, they're going to take your job. No, it's not going to happen. No, it can never. No, it's not going to happen. Right now, temporarily, we've got prompt engineers that are going to get hired because they can write really well and effectively craft responses that would be deemed valuable. But even that can be replaced by AI and will be replaced by AI. This is coming sooner rather than later. People are going to be out of a job. All the news sites you see, I'm not going to say you're going to disappear, but there's going to be a value, I feel a higher value placed in craft content. Craft content being like this, like, at least at this time, I'm real. I'm legit. I'm here, I'm in person, I'm live with all my mistakes and foibles, all that. I'm real. I'm absolutely, you can't AI me, right? I could add an AI filter, I could add, I could have AI drive this stream, but there's something to be said about an organic approach to content in light of algorithmic driven, robot driven content. There's a difference. And so I feel this might actually be potentially a boon for creators. Maybe they may not be able to get paid the same, but I feel there's a better value or a deeper value in me doing this, despite me not, we've had a few cheers tonight. It's great. And we've had subs and gifted subs, certainly. Great to have your support in whatever way you can give it. But doing this will hold a higher value, I feel, with people than robotic content. Depending on what they need, right? If they're seeking connection or they're seeking opinion that they want to know came from a human, anybody can crank out AI content. Anybody. You can. I do it for YouTube because I'm like, well, just do an AI paragraph and I'm good to go. Like, why spend the time? I'll have AI do it. I've already said my piece. Let AI handle the rest. This type of content, the live content, the interactive content, I feel is going to have a deeper value than the algorithmic content, because the algorithmic you can scale indefinitely. People, you can't. There's 1,001 people for every one of me. There's 100 more, 1,000 more, 1,000,000 more. But I can't be replicated. What I put down and what I put out there can't necessarily be replicated. Me live in real time. This moment that we're having is a craft moment. This is a craft beer moment. This is not a Budweiser moment. So I feel this is going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening. Yes, absolutely. By the way, you're asking if you want to jump on stream. There's always going to be room because I'll knock someone out or rotate someone, or I'll also be willing to take someone else out. So I just took off the headlines, and even if not, we've got room for 10. So yes, there's absolutely room. Jay Harley, happy to have you here. Happy to host you.
I'm taking up one spot too, by the way.
What's that?
I'm taking up a spot, by the way, because I didn't have a chance to get a game going whenever the electricity came back on.
No worries. You're fine, Glendon. I just as soon punt the headlines in the chat before something else anyway. Even though that's a very busy chat. Let's see if I've missed any comments. And Glendon, feel free to, if you got thoughts on the matter. I know I've been kind of waxing pathetic here for the past 2 hours.
No, I agree with you on the AI part. I feel like there is going to be a loss in value of that type of news and that type of, workforce that you made reference to, especially whenever it comes to creating the content. AI can, basically fill that role with increased productivity and save money. So
this is the balance we were talking about. CNUP and I were getting into the other day, and not like getting into butting heads. We actually, I feel, agreed on a great many things. Diet Coke brings up the same point. From an optimistic perspective, the job replacement is the first way we could theoretically have a society where everyone can have the basics for free. That's what I'm saying. I would want to see that. I absolutely would tilt into that. I'm all for it. The problem is we're not there. And when you've got opportunity that's contingent on finance, and making more money, I don't know if we're going to get there sooner instead of later. I think it's inevitable, right? That computers do a lot of the stuff that we would normally, robots do the stuff that we would normally do. It's going to happen. And we're already at a point where inflation's just insane is the only word I could use. Like, I mean, I'm literally, you're insane to think that even if I had discretionary income, I would pay $6 for a package of Oreo cookies. Like, I just, or like, even if I wasn't vegan, I'd be telling Diana, we're not buying eggs. No way. $7 for a dozen eggs? No. No. Not gonna happen. No way. So I totally hear you, Diet Coke, and I'm with you. And I'm bullish on the idea. It's the question of what do we need to go through to get to that point? It's something that I feel needs to happen for us to survive as a species. We're already getting close to that point. This, I think, is going to accelerate it. Things like ChatGPT, right? AI, further eroding, job opportunities. And that's not to say that the wisdom of being able to develop or the wisdom of being able to write won't have value or won't hold value, but instead of a workforce of, this is obviously not the real workforce, instead of having a workforce of 100 people, you only have a workforce that can handle 10. And that's what, instead of 100,000, it's 10,000. And so that's what's going to happen. It's going to happen. And when that happens, will we be able to adapt? Should it happen? Yeah, absolutely. Do I think that that we should have more of a utopian Star Trek-esque society? Absolutely. Yes. If you were to ask me, Chris, if the whole world could eliminate the need for finance, if the whole world could eliminate the need for getting needs met and having to work to get needs met, if the whole world could eliminate inequity and inequality, would I be for that? Yes, I would. That would mean changes, dramatic changes. And the people who don't want those changes are the people who are what? In control. The people who what? They have money. So when that entire economic system collapses upon itself, we have a reckoning. There's no other way around it, right? It's going to happen. There's a reckoning that's coming. This is not me with a tinfoil cap. I'm far from an economist, not to say that economists necessarily always know what the hell they're talking about either. But when you've got something that effectively eliminates jobs without replacing them,
I'm with you.
I don't know.
That's the only way that this is going to happen, if there's a complete and utter economic fallout.
Well, let's think about it. Even in terms of teachers, right? Teachers they're low paid, hardly paid at all, struggling. And what happens when students are able to use other technologies or other, have other experiences that basically replace the need for education? The need for, let me reframe that. The need for traditional education. Growing up, I had to use different tools than kids use today. Today, kids need to learn critical thinking skills. They need to know how to research. We needed to know too, but we went to encyclopedias. We went to printed volumes. We didn't have anything like Google or Wikipedia. Now, we didn't have anything like ChatGPT. So these transformative technology advancements are forcing humanity's hand. And whether we want to face this or not, it's here. This is not pie in the sky. I'm not even saying the sky is falling, but y'all, people who are previously paid for something are no longer getting paid and no longer have opportunities. And companies that are in charge and in control have a vested interest in staying in control. And when they eliminate positions that were once valued at a certain mark, and those people who are hired, that workforce shrinks from, again, 1,000 to 100. What do those other 900 people do? Where do they go if there's nowhere else to go? Where do they go? How do they generate revenue? There's a reckoning coming. Again, we got to play the game. I'm a game player. I admit it. If you were to ask me, Chris Wade, are you the people love dragging out the socialist word or the communist word or whatever term you want to throw at this. I think we're beyond that. Technology is going to force our hand. It has to. It's an end. It's the only end game. What are we doing it for? Are we inventing AI to be more efficient at our jobs that they are replacing? How does that work? How does that work? Because the company, the business, if they see that AI is more cost effective, what do you think they're going to do? Do you really think the company is going to keep you around out of the kindness of their heart, right? Are they going to struggle to keep you around? Really? Is that what they're going to do? Or are they going to look at it as a cost-saving measure? What do you think they're going to do? Any company, whether it's private or a publicly traded company, what are they going to do? Just think of it. Let's just be logical about this. If you were a business owner and you had a bottom line, and your costs are personnel, and these are your costs. These are hard costs you can't get around because you need the people to run your business. But then you find something that automates your business, the same thing that the people did and did it well enough. Maybe not the same way, but they did it well. It did it well enough that you're able to cut out those costs. What are you going to do?
It's an easy decision that now becomes a controllable.
You feel me, Glendon?
Yeah, that now becomes a controllable. That something that prior to this you would not have any control over because you had to have X amount of people to complete the job and the tasks that you had in order for your business to thrive. With this in place, you can now do that and raise your bottom line because it's a controllable at this point. Because
it's financial, because you're in business for finance. But at some point, that delta, right? The delta between, I know, Cena, I'm glad you're tuned in too, because I love getting into this. These are the conversations that just enthrall me to the nth degree. I find these conversations around technology and its implication with societal needs and drive and foundations. We're at it, whether you want to call it a tipping point, a delta, we're at a crossroads, whatever you want to call it, where we are introducing technologies that, and I know I'm seeing comments that I can't bring up because, I'm very blessed to see people commenting in chat. Some things work well enough. Like Silver Sunbeam was mentioning artists. And I think this was in relation to the comment about AI being a fad. Artists lose out. But here's the thing. Artists are going to lose out. Sorry. It's just... But there's a value in that craft. There's a value in that trade. It's the question of whether that value has value in the marketplace. I have a value. I have a value in writing. I could write something for you. You asked me to write something, I could write it for you. If you paid me, I could write it for you. Easily. Not using chat, I could write it. That's my trade. That's my craft. But there's no value in the marketplace. Maybe 10 cents a word, $1 a word, whatever you want to, whatever it is, right? There's no value anymore. It's gone. It's getting actively eliminated. And the same thing's going to happen with artists. Because you may have an original style, but let me tell you something. Let me tell you, that can be emulated. And I'm not saying copied. I mean emulated in the sense that it works well enough. It's close enough. Not to say it falls under satire or parody, but it's happening. And I'm not taking a position saying it's the right thing to do. I'm just saying it's an is thing. It is. I can sit here and say the writing that I create is better than writing that you might be able to generate from ChatGPT, but you don't care because you'd have to pay me $1 a word or whatever the going rate might be versus ChatGPT, which you can use for free. What would you rather pay if it's your bottom line? So again, the thing that muddies this and that makes it a complex discussion isn't the technology. It's the implementation of the technology. It's the impact that it has. Specifically because of finance, because of money, because of economies. And that's what we are driving towards at breakneck speed. Breakneck. Every day I log in. I didn't see these 2 articles today, before today. Well, I knew that CNET was likely going to be laying off. I knew that they were doing AI generated stories. I didn't know that scientists now want to create AI using real human brain cells. Nor did I see the Stable Diffusion basically regenerated, reconstructing images as presented to the mind's eye. Didn't see those before today. These are changes that are happening all around us, and we are facing head on the implications. I was effectively amalgamating the word implication and implication, or trying to, at least, and failing at it. The implications of what we're doing with the technology. Do I think? And someone asked, Johnny asked, should AI be regulated here? One of the comments that has come in. I don't know if I think regulation is going to solve the problem, because regulation can work, and it does work, and I am for regulation. I am. I don't know if government officials necessarily know what the hell they're talking about in relation to technology, and I feel that they're swayed by special interest groups that obviously have a different interest in mind, their own. I think we need to get money out of politics. I've been saying that for decades, but that's the game we play. Just like, as much as I would love to not have to worry about how I'm going to pay the bills, that's the game I have to play. At what point is the game no longer playable? At what point do you have to just say, checkmate, I can't play this game anymore? Too many people can't play the game anymore. When a workforce that is able to sustain the economy shrinks because of technology. I'm not saying it's end game. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. And yeah, they're still trying to regulate drugs. See, that was a horrible battle to fight, and they shouldn't have fought it. I think people's personal choices are their personal choices. That's my belief. That's my personal opinion. As long as, and this is the caveat, it's always the caveat, as long as it doesn't impact somebody else. The moment it impacts somebody else, that's where I have a problem. That's where I have a problem. That's where there's an issue, right? That's me. And whatever you want to call me, whatever you want to label me on a political spectrum, I don't know. I don't necessarily adhere to political labels. But my belief is that, hey, it's your body, it's your choice. But I believe that from stem to stern. I believe that from beginning to end, right? As long as, like, the choices that you make don't impact somebody else. So the choices I make will directly impact Diana. They'll directly impact Jedi. Directly. Even the indirect choices I make will directly impact them. Or the choices I make in terms of what I do will directly impact the people that might do things with Maker Deck or Locker Gnome. They'll directly impact them. So I have to think very carefully and strategize very carefully before I make those decisions. I would never want to do something that would put us further in jeopardy. So it's the same thing, you know, when it comes to regulation, we also have to think, without regulation, we wouldn't have safety belts in cars. I don't think anyone would argue. I'm sure. Wait, I can't say anybody. There are some bozos out there who think that it's okay to drive without a safety belt. I would disagree. I think stats have shown that it can save lives. And hey, if it's a lifesaver, that's a win in my book. There are some who want to ride without a motorcycle helmet. I can tell you this, after taking a motorcycle course and learning how to ride a motorcycle, there's no way on God's green earth I would ever mount a bike without having a helmet on. No way. Just like I would never mount a bike without jeans, without the proper equipment. It's safety. It's just baseline safety. And I understand the satisfaction of having the wind blowing through your hair, but it's safety for me. And I would want safety for everybody, certainly. And there have been states and debates over states debating helmet laws. And my dad did motorcycle instruction for a number of years. So they wore helmets everywhere. So regulation can work. And I don't believe in the lack of regulation. It's the question of informed regulation that I think is up for debate. I have a problem when I hear government officials talk about things that clearly they don't understand and regulating something they don't understand without talking to people who know what the hell they're talking about. That's where it gets concerning for me. Can AI be regulated? I think it's a matter of time before it is. But at the point where it is, we've opened a Pandora's box. I don't know if there's a way to go back. how are they going to rein this in? And even if they rein it in domestically, what's going to keep China from not doing it? What's going to keep, Russia from not? I'm just naming countries. Italy, Germany. What's gonna keep any country, Antarctica, from doing it? Right? Just because we hold it back here, then we're in a completely different kind of race. I mean, we may take an ethical high ground, but at what cost? I had this debate even with the discussion around TikTok. I don't think banning TikTok solves the problem. Companies have been buying and selling your data for decades, dude. Even before the internet. You had your data bought and sold today so many times over, you didn't even know. TikTok is the tip of the iceberg, dude. I understand people are concerned about China, but China's got its fingers in a lot of pies, dude. As do other countries. On services that you use, they've got financial ties. This is not a conspiracy. This is a flat fact. You can't extricate yourself from that. That's why I always think it's kind of asinine when someone comes along and says, well, I'm going to boycott that company because of this. Okay, cute. But then you need to boycott that company too because of that. And it's similar because you're saying the same thing. Well, I don't want to boycott now, but they're not doing. No. You're going to draw a line. Don't pick and choose. That's why I have a problem with boycotts. I really do. I have a big problem with boycotts. Big problem with it. You can do what you want to do. You can do it. Do whatever you want to do. But if you're going to do something here for a reason, do it across the board, right? Well, I'm not going to support that company because of plastics. I'm like, yeah, but hang on. You literally collect Star Wars figures. Thinking you're complaining this company in the plastics. Stop collecting Star Wars figures because it's like 100% plastic. That was not plastic that is not a sound of plastic. Plastic makes a sound like this. I need other plastic. Here. That's more of a metal. That's aluminum. So, do it across the. Anyway, not that I expected to veer into politics, but we're there with technology. How can you? There's some people who've made some dumbass remarks like, "Can we stop talking about politics? Let's start talking about tech." How can you not see the two interlinked? They're indelibly intertwined at this stage. Read the headline. CNET is doing big layoffs just weeks after AI-generated stories came to light. You don't think layoffs are going to happen? You don't think companies are not going to try to save their bottom line for their shareholders or their private owners? You don't think that's going to happen? You don't think the workforce is going to shrink because we're advancing technology at such a rapid pace that we can replace us? Which I'm fine with across the board. Right now, I'm not fine with it because it's not across the board. We're going to have the haves and the have-nots. And that disparity is going to become more extreme. More extreme. Because of technology. So if you don't find this conversation fascinating and you just want to fart around with iOS versus Android, hey man, have at it because you got your head buried in the sand. You're not looking at the bigger picture. Because these conversations are worth having. This talk is worth having. This is an interesting turn of events. Not dramatic. CNET's not a huge employer. But this is what AI is doing. And I'm for it. See, that's the thing. That's the twisted thing. I'm for AI. I'm all like ChatGPT, Midjourney, this tool, that tool, the other tool. AI makes my job easier so long as I have a job. Right now, I can have a job. But at some point in the future, I don't know what's going to be. Well, Chris, that doesn't concern me because I'm a makeup guru. Can't replace makeup. Can't do that. Yeah, but see, here's the thing. If people don't have jobs to buy the makeup that you're selling, how are you going to sell the makeup? Oh my God, we're an ecosystem. It's like Avatar. We're all interconnected. How? Oh my God. Oh my God. So yeah, I'm vegan. $7 eggs don't impact me, right? Products with eggs don't impact me. But that entire industry, right? Those egg producers, those chicken owners, they don't have the money to be a sub on Twitch. That's obviously extreme. I don't think I have any chicken owners here subscribing on Twitch. But that's how it connects. That's how things interconnect. That's what AI is doing. And I'm all for it. So long as we have an even playing field, and we're not there. Right now, we're here. This is where we are. The haves and the have-nots. The people who have the means and the people who don't. And a lot of us in the middle. We're right. Most of us are right here in the middle, right? Most of us are in the middle. Thank God. Or I believe. But that's where we are. Where we need to be is here. This is where we need to be. Some people are like, no, we still need to be here. Really? You really think that's going to scale? That's going to work indefinitely? You really think that's going to... What's it going to look like when instead of, 1 million people being employable, it's just 100,000 who can be employable? What are those other 900,000 people going to do? What are they going to buy? Where are they going to spend the money that they don't have? Where are they going to live? In places that they can't buy because they don't have a job. This is the cycle. The haves and the have-nots. And technology right now is going to make it worse. But we, the royal we, have to figure out how to move it from here to here. And be happy about it. And I would say I'd be very happy about it. I would be. I don't think anybody would argue. Maybe some people would, the capitalists out there. I have to be a capitalist. I have to play the game. I have to play the game. My alternative is what? Bucking the system and saying, no, I'm not going to earn money. That doesn't work because the system isn't built for it. There's no structure for it. It's going to eat itself. And without a solution, without a quote-unquote plan B, technology is going to overtake us. Forget about buying the latest iPhone. AI. Maybe not today. Maybe not 5 years from now, but 10 years from now? Absolutely. Absolutely. And the way that AI is advancing at such a rapid pace, I'd be working on your plan B. That's all I'm going to say. But we're not there yet. God, Glendon, would you just shut up? Because I've really been wanting to share something for the past 2 hours. And I just can't get a word in edgewise. I
just get off on these tangents and I can't stop myself. You just have to, I'm sorry. I've got no other thing to say. All right. You can carry on.
Don't let it happen again. I really wish you'd be a little more self-aware.
I know. I try.
Would you just learn how to share the mic? Could you do that for me?
Oh God.
Yeah, if you can't laugh about it, you cry, honestly. Jay Harley says, Chris grew up in a time like me. Yeah, we're probably about right. Except for Sunbeam notes, this is kind of new, though. It is. It's one thing to replace a factory worker with a robot, quite another to replace developers, writers, artists. It's terrifying. But that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm excited and scared simultaneously. Like, this is like, I have this position where, wow, this is amazing. But wow, WTF am I going to do? Like, how am I going to be able to solve that problem? I can't. How am I going to, at 50 years old, how would I even begin to retrain myself? How? Like, I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know where to begin. Wouldn't even know. It's a different world. Silver Sunbeam's not even excited, scared for my kid. Well, I'm frightened for Jedi for global warming purposes more than anything. I'm trying to set the stage so that Jedi has not had to worry about the same things I had to worry about. She has not had to worry about the same things that Diana had to worry about. So to that end, I feel that we've already been successful. We're going to screw her up no matter what we do, right? We can set the stage for success, do as much as we can do. But this is, she's going to be entering a completely different world than I entered, for sure. And let me put it this way. I already know that inevitably, I don't know if she's ever going to be able to own a home. She may have to live here maybe indefinitely, maybe until I die. She's gonna hate it. She's gonna hate it, absolutely. Because, you know, me. Yeah, and I don't think that's right for her own growth either. I'm certainly, I'm the one who wants to enable her to be able to move out on her own, but it's not practical. Not anymore. It's a different world. Diet Coke says, that's my fear as a software developer. The only thing I've ever wanted to be. I don't know if I can do it for another 40 years. Well, ChatGPT works well enough. Maybe not be able to do all of it, but it can do enough to save a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of grunt work. So it's a matter of time. Let me bring mine back in. Oops, I almost picked that up. Anyway, so that was my tangent on that story. Microsoft is now openly testing a better Windows 11 volume mixer. This kind of dovetails a conversation that CNUP and I have been having ongoing insofar as Windows is getting better iteratively. These are minor improvements that add up over time. They just don't happen fast enough. This is getting rolled out in the preview build, so I expect to see it in the shipping versions soon enough. So this is good to see. Nice iteration. I like these improvements. I really do. I genuinely do. I really do like seeing Windows improve like this. I just want to see more of it faster and better than what it is. But dramatically. Because until then, I'm just like, Windows is it's Windows, cool. Yeah, I like Windows. Great. I use it for sure. But it's not Mac OS for me. Silver Sunbeam says, guess I'm going to have to crank out gallery quality photos while I can. And that I'm guessing, Silver Sunbeam, you've got maybe a year or two. That's my guess with the current state of AI, a year or two. Or go craft. I mean, a year or two. Because we look at everything right now and say, oh my God, this is a joke. This is horrible. This Midjourney doesn't even know what it's doing. Wait another year. Western culture places a lot of emphasis on with moving out. Maybe that's the growth in Western culture. Yeah. I mean, I don't think for Jedi though, it would be, I think Diana would want to keep her here indefinitely. I really believe that even without asking Diana. I'm fine with it as long as she cleans up after herself. But you know, ultimately you want to stake your claim, right? To have your own voice and to have your own life, and that's not possible to do when you're living in somebody else's shadow. It's just not it's not possible. Forget practicality. It's just not possible. Silver Sunbeam notes, honestly don't think fine art photography is dying anytime soon. It's a stock and commercial industry that's about to get kneecapped. That may be fair, but at some point you're going to find a diminishing returns in fine art photography as well. Oh, Viet Zom says my profile banner is a Midjourney. I love Midjourney. I stopped my subscription because I can't not justify $30 a month. I haven't had a need to do anything recently. So I just I can't justify the cost. Someday Windows will be what we want it to be. It's just happening at a small pace. Yeah, I totally agree. So there's a new update for you, CNUP, if you missed it, coming down the pike. There does seem such amazing things with OS releases anymore. Doesn't seem to be, I'd imagine. I remember the days when there was anticipation. Yeah, now the anticipation is iterative. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the iterative nature as long as it keeps coming at a steady clip. It's not enough for me. I'll say, I've said this before. I'll say it again. The UI in Windows needs to be far more cohesive. I feel it's coherent in the direction they're going. Cohesive than it has been. Right now, it's a mess. It's a muddled mess that they're slowly cleaning up, and they need to make that they need to go faster, rapidly. Iterate. I thought tonight was going to be a slow news night. Another new, and I don't need to go into this too deeply, but I did get a reminder as well. Google's bumping up the premium family price, which is disappointing because we were paying what, $15 a month. Now it's going to be like $22. I'm like, God blessed.
I know.
I mean, because I can't. What am I going to say? No. I mean, I use it. I use it constantly. I know Diana uses it, and Jedi, continues to use it. So it's like, all right, well, I guess this is what we're paying now. I would love to see more storage with that. I would love to see more features. If they see, that's the thing. If they said, okay, you're getting more storage. Okay, you're getting more features. Okay, you're getting more this, that, and the other thing. I'd be like, okay, good, cool. All right, well, that's worth it. Yep, but when they don't, that's when I get pissed off. Sorry, Glendon. What? Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're not interrupting. It's just, no, we're not getting nothing in return. They're just here. Give us some more money for the same product and the same service that you've been getting.
Aggravating. So I haven't seen anything that they suggested. If they rolled out 1 terabyte storage for our current tier, it'd be great, because we're able to float along at 200 gig storage for the time being. So I've been able to stave off the need to move to 2 terabyte storage, because that's the next tier up, and there's no benefit for doing that. I think the only other benefit might have been like a free VPN, potentially, but we don't use that on the mobile devices, at least. Yeah, there's just not enough value for what they're asking. Just give me the value. I have no problem paying. God, I have no problem paying for something that I'm going to use and that has value, whether it's Twitter and the jackass who's running it, or it's Google and whoever the hell is running it. Sundar is currently running it, and I'd argue for a change in leadership there. He's running Alphabet, right? I have no problem spending money on things that I use. It's the question of what it is I'm getting from it. Like for the example, so you can see Dragon Samurai is running Antstream. I wanted to get Antstream, I really did, but I held off on it because I thought I couldn't just. Thank you, Silver Sunbeam, for gifting a sub. I appreciate it, and I'm sure Muse 1083 does as well, or they should. I didn't want to get Antstream, though I knew I would want to use it. I couldn't justify the price. Then they dropped the special price to $12 a year. I'm like, that I could justify. That's easy. I can do that. So I got Antstream. The web version of Antstream, however, has been a little flaky for me. I don't know if the special deal is still going on. You can check it out in coupons, deals, and whatever on Discord. Yeah, if you want to jump on with your thoughts on it, sure, why not? What are your thoughts on Antstream?
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So I found out about Antstream years ago over on the Apple News app, and I thought this was a pretty cool idea. So weeks ago, I got an account on Antstream, tried it out. I gotta tell you, it's like Namco Museum, Midway Arcade Treasures, and all of those classic arcade compilations, all on the web. And it's free. It has a free plan, and it also has a subscription plan too, which I want to plan to get in the future. But other than that, you can just plug in any controller. You can download the app. It's also on.
That's what I was doing. Yeah, I did it on the web, but is it crashing on you? I mean, what would happen to you? I don't know if you saw it, but I was playing games like Burger Time or the Star Wars game or Elevator Action, and then it would freeze on the web. Just lock up completely. Crash. Have you had that problem?
No. All I did was just download the app. I found out there was an app for it.
Yeah, I probably have to download the Mac app. This is a bargain right now. Is it still active, I wonder? The Green Man Gaming discount, $12 a year right now for basically all you can eat retro games through the Antstream library. And they don't have all the classic games, but here. So let me pull you up full, since you've got the since you got the library right there. You can see retro titles that you might recognize. Some are original titles. These are all either you can play locally or you can play them in the web browser. Boulder Dash was a fun game I played on the C64 there. They've got Atari games, arcade games, Nintendo games. Like all, you know, like the 3D tic-tac-toe. There's a classic Atari game. Battle Chess is there, if you remember that from the PC back in the day. So, not to say you would play all the games. Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it, Ghetto White Booty. You've been following for 7 whole seconds. That's a new record.
Wait, do they have ET? Let me check. You
Shut
probably
up.
don't.
They have ET? No, there's no way.
No, they
Super
don't.
Return of
They
the
don't.
Jedi, though. See, a lot of these titles I'm not familiar with at all. Most of them. That's where when they say, "Oh, we've got 5,000 titles," I'm like, "Yeah, but do they have the ones that I really want to play?" There's the Return of the Jedi arcade game. That might.
Yeah,
be
they have all the Super Star Wars on here.
No, not just the Super one. Go 3 over there. Yeah, right. No, right. No. Yep.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, that's the arcade version.
Oh, I should probably play that one next. Since I played
Metal
the original.
Slug is in there. Monkey Island. A lot of retro titles that I assume that library is going to grow and grow and grow.
Yeah, and the cool thing about Antstream is that different games have different sorts of challenges. Here, I'll show you. Let me pull up Pac-Man over. And let me go back. And if you see that little rocket here, that means the game has challenges. So you click here to challenges, and you can tick on certain different challenges, and then you can get in-game gems, achievements, and things. And about the gems is that, well, for the free plan, you have to use them in order to play the games. There are 30 gems per game, but when you log in every day, you get 60. And what's incredible about that is that with Antstream, there's no microtransacting. There's no microtransactions. You don't have to pull out your credit card or debit card every time if you want to get more gems. You just log in every day, beat the achievements, beat the challenges, and then you get more gems.
Yeah, but what are the gems for? I guess I haven't gemmed.
On the free plan, you use them to play games.
Right.
And you can also use them for the challenges, and you can also enter tournaments with them. But if you have a subscription, you won't use the gems to play the games.
Got it. So yeah, I linked off to the where you can save. We're not paid, not a sponsor, not an influencer. It was just something that was fascinating to me because you can play retro games within the web browser. Because if anybody's out there going, "Well, Chris, I'd like to jump into the live stream here and play a video game. I don't know what to play. I would love retro games, but I don't have any." Go here, get an get an Antstream subscription. There you go, done deal.
Ant-Man subscription.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Yeah, to get an Ant-Man subscription and you're good. So right now, at this time, $12 a year. If you love any of the retro games, they've got on Green Man Gaming. You can get basically 70% off. Normally it's $40 a year. But you can get it like basically for $1 a month. And I'm like, this is dumb, stupid, simple, easy, done, easy, simple, can do, will do. So yeah, that's
they got Rampage.
And by the way, Ghetto White Booty, which again was my nickname in high school. How did you know that? Is this me? Did I log in? Am I in the metaverse? Is that what? Yeah, I've been streaming for a long time and streaming on Twitch. What you're watching now is basically a 24/7 arcade, a 24/7 geek out where you can actually join the stream and join alongside me and other people geeking out about one thing or another anytime, day or night. People playing retro games, modern games, video games, screen sharing, desktop sharing, editing, doing whatever, and just geeking out at the same time. Kieran right now is 3D printing. We also happen to have an adjoining channel called Maker Deck, which is a virtual makerspace that is also running 24/7 on Twitch. So yeah, someone is always streaming something in and around my orbit. Always. Well, honestly, Get a White Boy, it wasn't crowdsourced content so much as it was, no one else is doing it. And quite honestly, the way that I was doing my streams was like, back in the day was like this. This is a typical live, oh, it's one creator and doing his thing, and there we go. Okay. But like, that's not as interesting as this. This is interesting right here. This is interesting. So the idea is that we can make it a more of a group effort, because I can't do everything all the time at all. I can't play all the games. I can't stream all the things. But at least I can say, hey, here's where we're going to do it. Here's how we're going to make it happen. I hope at some point in the near future we'll be able to build another PC together. PC together. Sure. Yeah, Diet Coke, we talked about Zuckerberg abandoning the metaverse very briefly earlier. We're talking about their Quest headset price drops. See, I just played that game the other day. Dragon Samurai. I just played that game. Because they didn't have Tetris. That was a close equivalent to that. Okay, I've run through all the articles. Glendon, do you want to punt on deals till tomorrow?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, let's do that, because I want to talk Picard with
all good.
Yeah, with if not Mad Cat, if Mighty Goat is still here.
Mystery.
Kind of ran late tonight. Man, I can't believe it. I've pretty much been talking nonstop for like 2 hours, thinking, oh, it's gonna be a slow news day. It's Friday. If Mighty Goat is still here to talk, Mystery Goat, sorry. Still here. Didn't know if he. Yeah, hell yeah, Mystery Goat. What are you talking about? Jump in. Jump in. The water's fine. Come on in. Come on in. The water's fine. Sure. I will cycle Kieran though. He knows though. He's admin. He knows. Would love to bring you on. Let's talk Picard before ending TLDR. We're gonna punt on the tech deals today, or the various deals today. I have a Lego deal that I probably needed to get out, but it hadn't really happened necessarily. Still, we'll be covering that, I think, tomorrow at some point. All right, Mr. Goat, can I bring you in audio only? Do you have anything to show visually in any way? Here we go. Now I can bring you in audio. Give me a second. Okay, Kieran, I'm going to remove. Okay, Mystery Goat, let's talk Picard.
All right, you can hear me, right?
I can hear you, man. And this is, by the way, spoilers. But, dude, the Dominion.
Yeah, I was very excited about that. Honestly, I wasn't really sure how this episode was going to go, especially when we found out who the big bad guys were going to be. But I got a little excited when I started seeing some changelings out there, I have to admit.
At first, I wasn't even sure what was going to happen. I wasn't sure. Oh, I got to stretch and I got to turn off. Hang on, I got to turn off lights. So, Mystery Goat, what do you think about episode 3?
Episode 3, I think, has to be the best so far. I've made it no secret how much I have really disliked Picard up to this point. And I've been a little cautious because season 2 started out pretty good first couple of episodes, and then it got pretty rough later on. And so I've been cautious. First couple episodes, weren't bad. And I've been I'm still waiting for more episodes to come out before I give a full like or dislike on it. But at this point, episode 3 really picked up for me. Episode 2 was kind of slow. It felt almost like it was a 30-minute episode that they stretched out for an hour. This episode had a lot of action in it. It had a lot of revelations in it, especially the dialogue between Picard and Crusher. Been really waiting to see, what their whole dynamic was, what happened between the two of them, where Jack came from. So that was really good. But yeah, with the revelation of the changelings in here and this part of the Dominion coming back, you know, they could really do bad by it. We don't really know what the rest of it's going to look like, but I really do buy a faction of changelings that would come in and not fully go along with the treaty that was signed at the end of DS9. That's not hard to believe at all. You think perhaps because they're all on a link, maybe all of them are going to think the same, but I don't really think that. Obviously, with the way we saw Odo, that's he has a mind of his own. Others have a mind of their own. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see, you know, how far this separate faction is really going.
You know, Glendon, are you into? Have you been watching Picard?
No, I haven't.
Okay. You know, and again, we are in spoiler territory.
Yeah.
The episode's been out for a bit. Silver Sunbeam, hopefully you're okay with spoilers. If not, you may have to mute. But if you're saying that you haven't started season 3 yet, I gotta be very. It's fine. You don't give a crap. Okay, great. Season 3, I still feel, and I said this about the episode 1, and I agree with you too, by the way, about season 2 starting out like, okay, this is going to get interesting, and then ultimately it just kind of didn't get interesting.
It's that bad writing came back again and reared its head really quickly.
Yeah, and too quickly for me, because I wanted to like it. I really did. And I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I'm like, oh yeah, it was good. It was fun. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like, oh my God, you have to see season 2. So season 3, episode 3, at least, I appreciated seeing the Dominion again, especially after DS9, which is my favorite jam for classic Trek. Not to say that TOS would not be considered classic Trek, but for me, classic Trek is more TNG, Voyager.
Those 5 series are good Trek. We'll call them good Trek.
Yeah. You know, I have an affinity for TNG because in college, at the end of the day, 10 p.m. at night, there would be a rerun or whatever, and we, you know, as kids, this little color TV, this little 13-inch color TV would watch Star Trek episodes. And I remember Star Trek TNG from that.
That's why Voyager's mine for me. I have more thoughts and emotions about that than I do probably others. Even though I did watch TNG when I was a kid, I was a little too young for it to really fully understand it. And Voyager, I was in my teens when that was going on. For episode 3 though, season 3, the thing I probably appreciated more than the Dominion, as much as I appreciated the dialogue and Picard really laying into Crusher, and her also having a very, like, the dialogue, but the writing and the dialogue between those two in that scene was spectacular. Yeah,
like, it was
I
just
agree.
like, my God, it was just like, yes, oh my God, that was like, you know when you're in an argument, like, that was the wrong thing to say or that was the right thing to say. They were both saying the right things, like, absolutely on point. So you can empathize with both of them versus having to pick a side. Like, oh, clearly we're gonna feel with Crusher, or we're with Picard. There's no enemy, right? There's no bad guy, so to speak. And I felt that dialogue played out very well. But I think my favorite part of this episode was Worf. Worf felt, I feel, honestly, for the first time that I've ever seen Worf portrayed, comfortable in his own skin.
Yeah. I will say I was very worried about Worf from the trailers, because they put big emphasis on this. I'm a pacifist now. You know, you're like, well, Worf was never really a violent person, but I would never call him a pacifist, and I wouldn't really expect him to betray all the things that he believes in as far as Klingon culture goes. But from what I saw from here, especially his reveal in episode 2. You know, clearly he's not a pacifist, at least not in the way that we might automatically assume he is. But yeah, I really like this version of Worf. You made that little joke that he's working on himself, and you kind of sense it, like it all in the best ways too. That, like you said, he's comfortable in his skin. He knows who he is, and he's not afraid to be himself anymore. He doesn't feel like he has to be someone else.
I'm serious. I think, I mean, as much as I've loved Worf, and I think my favorite Worf is from DS9.
Yeah, he's the most fleshed out, I believe.
I mean, this is he, like I said, the closest phrase I could use is he's comfortable in his own skin. It just felt, it felt right. It felt natural. It felt like a good evolution of the character. Like, you know, because he's come from this very angry, you know, confused, not necessarily confused, but like this straddling the line between, you know, Terran society and Klingon society. And I really felt like that as an arc was fitting, and the humor, because he was so self-aware that the humor came off as just not cute is the wrong word, and maybe that's not framing it the right way, but just very, very genuine and very like humorous.
He doesn't take himself so seriously
That's
anymore.
what I'm saying. Like, it was very not to the point of self-deprecation, but very comfortable in his own skin.
That whole joke about what was that again? Where he was it decapitations or beheadings or Wednesdays or whatever that was? That was a funny joke, and that was great. About, you know, especially about the way he betrayed himself when he first met Raffi and everything. To be able to joke about yourself, I always appreciate about people. To not take yourself so seriously and so dramatically, you know. And to see Worf like that is it's great to see him be more comfortable that way.
Totally agree. I really feel strong. I probably feel stronger about Worf than I do the other characters. As much as I've loved to see all the other characters, right? Riker feels the same, Picard feels the same, but Worf feels like there's been growth.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? So Worf was easily my favorite part. Even down to, I loved when Worf was saying, no, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And then Raffi's all like, ah! And then she had to stop and think, like, yeah, that sounds good. Like, she was so disarmed, right? She was so used to being defensive about everything. Her entire life is defensive that she's like, okay, I like it. You know, I kind of like this guy. You don't know this guy from Adam, but I like this guy. So I really, that was probably my favorite moment is her disarming, you know, but with Worf of all people. Yeah, it was fantastic. I really appreciated that as much, and I'll say I appreciated. This is going to sound weird because I'm going to cross the streams and do the unthinkable. As much as I appreciated Worf and his arc, I also appreciated Luke Skywalker's arc for different reasons. Right? Some people were upset that Luke took the trajectory that he took with becoming a recluse and following the path of Obi-Wan and Yoda in terms of just like becoming a hermit effectively and cutting themselves off. I appreciated that about Luke, but I also appreciated this about Worf. So it's like these arcs just, they make sense. They fit. So I love the Dominion being reintroduced. Great enemy. Or a protagonist to combat, because there's always that element of, are you a changeling? Because you don't know.
Yeah, the fear element is what's going to make this a lot of fun.
Yeah,
because especially during the really heart of the Dominion, I mean, we got some great episodes of DS9 that really involved that whole idea of fear mongering, even amongst a utopian society. You know, once they reached Earth, and you saw the levels that humans would go to now to try to either protect, or what fear could do, I guess I should say, in terms of breaking up. I don't know, I can't quite think of the right word for it right now, but you understand what I mean. You know, they took a really hard line once the changelings reached Earth, even to the point of turning it into a police state, like overnight. And that kind of fear that the changelings bring, I mean, no other alien species has really done that. The Borg really don't even do that. And
different threat.
Yeah, and the Dominion, Dominion are really going to be for a good bad guy, especially for an ender like this, since this is the end of the series,
right?
And to bring all this together, I mean, I know they weren't too terribly big part of Next Generation, but they were still there, and it all takes place in the same universe, so they're very much aware of it. he'll definitely be a really good bad guy for them all. I'm actually really impressed with it, to be perfectly honest.
I'm glad they brought them in, because I mean, as much as I love the introduction of new Nemesis, but I'm glad they didn't fall back on the trope of, I'm going to call it the Romulans a trope, right?
Yeah,
they're the enemy, du jour, right? Constantly the enemy, which is one of the reasons why I really like watching Discovery. And that, by the way, I don't know if that was a recent announcement, but Discovery's 5th season is the final.
Yeah, they just announced that.
So I'm hoping they know it's the final, so they can wrap it up in a reasonable way.
I think so, because they delayed the season till next year.
Okay, then that's my only hope for that, because Discovery's my jam. But this season of Picard is like I said this with episode 1, and I feel just as strongly about it at episode 3. This is what season 1 should have been.
Yeah,
and I think this is what people wanted season 1 to be.
Yeah, it's very frustrating, to be honest with you. It frustrates me a lot that season 3 has to exist within the world that was created with seasons 1 and 2. Especially the whole Picard being an android thing. I absolutely hate that. It drives me up the wall.
Well, and they keep referencing it too.
Yeah,
right? Like that's the positronic or whatever. That's the term they use, right? With Picard.
I almost think
that whole plot was confusing to me. And like I kind of follow the bouncy ball, but like there's stuff that's just so nebulous. I'm like, wait, what?
Well, and that's why I always go back to how bad the writing was, especially within season 1, and then it came back again in season 2.
You're a Trekkie, correct?
Oh yes,
you're
very
a
much
Trekkie. So just to frame that is, you're not just saying that flippantly.
No, I wanted to like season 1, and I watched it all the way through. I gave it a lot of chances. I kept an open mind through the whole thing, and even Riker shows up, and we're doing all these fan service things in season 1 that I'm like, okay, I can really get behind this. I enjoy this. It's fun. Hey, I get to see Riker again. I get to see Troy. I get to see them living as a couple for the first time. We never really even got to see that, not even in Nemesis. And I was truly trying to go with it all the way up into the end. And when that last episode hit and I was done watching it, I was like, my God, this was absolutely horrible. And ever since then, I've been so disappointed with this whole series.
When I watch this stuff, I don't look to want to be disappointed. Does that make sense? I don't want it to fail. I want it to be good because I'm spending my time on it and I'm invested in Star Trek more now than I feel I was in the era of TNG, Voyager. I tuned out. Well, DS9 was my jam. That, like, if you were to ask me, DS9, period, end of story. Like, it was DS9 and everything else. Enterprise is where I started to kind of float away. I'm like, I don't know if it wasn't my thing. I mean,
I loved Enterprise, actually.
Here's what probably threw me off, and this is gonna sound stupid, but it was the theme song, "Come Along With Me," whatever it was. I'm like,
I threw up a lot of people, actually.
I'm like, I want dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
dun,
I do.
Dun, dun. I'm like, I want that.
A fun little trivia fact is actually they did have an instrumental theme song for it, and you can hear it in the end credits of that show.
Yeah, that was, as silly as it sounds, that probably threw me off the most, because it was not, as much as people don't like swearing in Star Trek, I love it. I'm all GD this and F that and S-bomb this. I'm like, yes, sign me up for real.
I don't like it when it's thrown in just to do it. That's where I feel like a lot of it's done, especially the first season, maybe even the first couple of seasons of Discovery. Felt like, okay, we're on a streaming platform. We don't have the rules like we had to on network television. We can just throw out F-bombs, and we're going to do it just to do it. And that part annoys me. Like, when it doesn't feel natural, that's when I don't really care for it.
Yeah, I guess I haven't felt any, at least with Discovery and with this Picard season 3, I haven't felt any. Even my misgivings with let's say modern Star Trek, I haven't felt the need to just like, okay, I'm bouncing. That's it. Even with the movies, I'm like, okay, I enjoy it. I'm like, okay, cool.
I hate the JJ
watch
movies.
It.
I hate the Abrams movies.
It's not my fandom, so I can watch it and like enjoy it without even the JJ Abrams Star Wars movies. I enjoy. I mean, like, yeah, it's fun. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Does it need to be the most amazing thing ever done? No, I just enjoyed it. And as long as I enjoy it, I'm good to go. I don't need to overthink it. I just want to enjoy it. I want to revel in the moment and enjoy it. And that's where I feel Picard season 1 and 2 got so far ahead of themselves that I just couldn't. I enjoyed it, but it was just like, it was perfunctory. It was like, huh? Like, okay, I get it, but I'm like, wait, what? And when I do that too many times, it's hard to follow the bouncy ball.
Yeah.
So I loved in episode 3, to come back to that. I love the fact that Picard was put in his place, not just by Crusher, but by Riker, even on the bridge, right? Where it's like, you can, leave the bridge, basically. He's like, you need to go.
I can understand some of that, but I did have a little hard time taking that in because I honestly, I don't want to see those two be at such great odds. It's one thing to argue a little bit, but
Picard now has a son at play. Yeah. He's in the mix. So now Picard's his paternal instincts are kicking in. So it made sense to me that he's going to make a decision that he feels is going to serve his family more than than his greater family, right? The Federation, right? Or the Starship. So it was reasonable that Picard would make the decisions that he made, as well as Riker taking it more seriously because he's had more time being a father than Picard has. Picard is wrestling with feelings right now, which is something that he's not used to at all. So he's thrust into a situation where he doesn't know, and this is my perspective, right? This is my take. This is what I'm processing when I'm watching it, right? He doesn't know how to deal with it. So he's dealing with it best he can. And I love that portal, they fire the photon torpedoes and then it shoom, and it hits the end. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, whoa. Like, whoa, okay.
That whole portal thing was I wasn't sure how to take it at first. I was like, oh, because a lot of this new Star Trek stuff, they like to do things just to do it. That we have technology to be able to make really cool effects, so we're going to just go balls to the walls and make something stupid, pretty much. And I wasn't trying to take it at first, but as time went on and we got to see more of it in use and how it was being used even defensively with the Titan, how it was portaling the ship back to them all the time, and then when it used it with the torpedoes, I was like, okay, this is actually kind of a cool move. I really like this. This is a fun moment.
I mean, but then again, I tend to get lost in just watching these episodes. I try not to overthink it. I think, is this a logical way of reacting? Is this how this character would be? And as long as those pieces fit, I'm fine with it. And so everything in episode 3 just felt like a natural fit, whether it was Picard's behavior, Riker's behavior, Crusher's behavior, in her words. I think we're also going to see, because remember, she referenced Wesley. I think Wesley's going to make an appearance in season 3. I really believe that.
I'm kind of wondering if he does too, especially having been mentioned.
They dropped him in season 2, and I'm not saying this for no reason, but I'm telling you, there's going to be something that's going to happen. They're almost guaranteed.
Possibly.
Almost guaranteed.
Possibly. I was thinking, and just to add on to that, I'm kind of wondering. I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. But I do kind of wonder if we're going to get a Janeway appearance.
Well, she's been involved in so many other things. I wonder.
Well, and she's she's doing Prodigy, so
right. And I haven't gotten it. Admittedly, I've not watched Prodigy. A lot of the animated stuff, I don't. I watched
a little bit of Prodigy. It's all right for me.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not a deep fan, so it's like I'm not like Bad Batch, Star Wars. Yes, I'm in, but like it just didn't hook me enough to pull me in. Arcane, not that the correlation could be made, but like that's an animated series that I started watching on Netflix, and I know nothing about League of Legends or the game, but I liked the series. Like it was well done. It was well written. I can't get into the Legends of Vox Machina, and I've tried, and I'm into it, but I'm like, yeah, but if there's something else on, I'm gonna watch that, and that's where I don't even think about it. It's not even close to being on my radar for watching.
Yeah.
Prodigy, at least.
Well, Prodigy,
Janeway crossover.
Prodigy was supposed to be for kids anyway. That's how it was initially.
Right, the tweens, conceived. Right, the Nickelodeon tweens. But I will say, 7 of 9. One of the things that stood out for me, even in this episode, because I love okay. So disclosure, Jerry Ryan does follow me on Twitter, and
I think you've mentioned that before, actually.
Yeah, we have interacted like it's a legitimate connection, not just a loose connection, right? It's a thing.
That's more connections than I have.
Yes, so Jerry, and I'm not saying Jerry and I have a thing, right? It just happened organically. I think that's because of political alignment, not necessarily because we have the same political ways of thinking, not necessarily the same. It's because of Star Trek, but I love a 7 of 9, or she always has the look of exasperation, right? Aggravation, like do I really? And I just, it's always so refreshing, but. What I wanted to call out was specifically when she was talking with LaForge on when she came to the door. I don't know her first name, right? But LaForge, I'll just say LaForge, right?
Yeah.
Geordie's daughter. And I don't want to diminish her value as a character, but I'm just, so that's why I'm saying LaForge.
Right.
She stands on her own, not in her father's shadow. Because she even referenced that, right?
Yeah.
I loved seeing Seven smile. Because she smiled.
Yeah.
And that, and see, oh, you saw a character smile, no big deal. No. Because it's Seven who smiled. Just like it's Worf who joked that I love to see as a natural evolution of a character. Because if that character was the same 20 years after, oh my God, you want to talk about devastating. Like, it's the same. I'm like, you learned nothing. You grew. How? Like you're the same person you were 20 years ago. If you're the same person you were 10 years ago, that's a disappointment. It's a disappointment. And so I feel like these are great character arcs to see. So to see Seven smile with that, that intervention of sorts, it was rather fantastic for me.
Yeah. No, I appreciated that. I like how she is right now. I've had a big problem with how they portrayed Seven within the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I don't like the dark world that they've created here. I think it's overly dark.
I guess that doesn't concern me as much. It was kind of a subplot of it, right? So it doesn't. I'm not fixated on it. I know that she's the Fenris Ranger, right? That's what it is, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And I'm only going by my own memory here, not by notes. I appreciate that she went that direction for the reason she went that direction, but it's so hard to recall Picard season 1 because it was just so muddled, right? And even season 2 was just so muddled that I'm trying to extricate that information to be able to apply it to the character where she is today. So I appreciate seeing her in Starfleet. I appreciate her at the point where she can smile, maybe not joke, but smile and have a sense of camaraderie with her cohorts and her colleagues and her shipmates. That was a highlight. It was seeing, as small as that sounds, as stupid as that sounds, that was not a throwaway moment. If you glossed over Seven smiling, like that was a big deal. That was a huge deal.
That moment in the whole context of what we have, no, that was not a small thing. But that's why I'm saying I don't like how they've done Seven, because I feel she's had a devastating past that didn't have to be that way. They just did it because they wanted to make things overly dark. So that's how I look at it. I don't like the direction that the showrunners went in the beginning to make Seven be the type of person that she is today. Those events have shaped her. All that events in the past that we never really saw shaped her. Yeah. And I don't think it was necessary. I wanted to see from the very beginning, I wanted to see her in Starfleet. I don't like the idea that Starfleet want her there because she's Borg. I can understand a few be apprehensive, but to have her be pushed out the way she was, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't even think that was even necessary. I don't even think they would want to do that. I mean, why wouldn't you want to have a Borg here? I mean, they brought in Worf at a time when there was still plenty of tensions between the Klingon Empire and Starfleet and the Federation. They brought in Nog, the first Ferengi, at a time when all Ferengis were greedy little crooks. There's all kinds of things they've done before. Why wouldn't they bring in a Borg, someone who clearly has a track record all through the 4 years she was on Voyager? She had a track record of helping them. They know she's trustworthy. She's got plenty of people to vouch for her. I just didn't like that whole aspect of it. But no, since we are here, this is what we have. That moment that you're talking about, no, that was not a small thing at all. That was it was fun to see, and I enjoyed it
Poignant.
myself.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward for more of LaForge too. I'm assuming we'll see more and learn more of her once Geordi comes onto the show.
I think it's a given. I really do. And like I said, I wish they started with this.
Yes, very much so.
I really do. Oh my God, there'd be so much more velocity around Picard. I wish they started with this, but we wouldn't know Raffi the same way. We wouldn't necessarily have the context of.
I'm personally okay with that. I have a bigger connection with Picard than I do Raffi, and either we would have had her differently, or we would have had a different character that we would have enjoyed just as much.
Right.
So I would have been okay with that, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
To have Picard done right.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I'm with you on that front. But I enjoyed episode 3 through and through. I feel it was a standout episode, more so than 1 and 2, honestly.
Yeah. It really picked up this episode. The first 2 really helped lay out the beginnings of this.
I wondered if we would
really
know the voice behind the voice that was driving the engagement with Raffi. So it was interesting to know that it was Worf, and then to have it him being so programmatic, but then flipping to more personable. So I'm very looking forward to how this season will continue to unfold. Very much.
I enjoyed that. I know I'm pretty certain that almost everyone was expecting this to be Section 31 or something that was behind. That was the intelligence behind.
You know what? I would enjoy a Section 31 series. I would.
Well,
I'll go as far as say I'd enjoy a Wesley Crusher driven series. Whatever he's doing with his time traveling or whatever. What was that, Section 31?
No. He's a watcher.
A watcher. Okay, so I would enjoy. I would enjoy that as a series. I mean, I enjoy Star Trek. People are surprised I can geek out about Star Trek as much as I can geek out about Star Wars easily. Like, especially when it's good stuff. This is good stuff.
Well, there's been talk for a long time about a Section 31 show starring Michelle Yeoh.
Oh my God! Yes, back. Please. My God, please.
Georgia.
Yes. No.
And they set it up because Discovery, when they went to the future, they brought her back to this time period. So there's supposed to be a Philip Georgiou led Section 31 series. Don't know what's happened with it.
Sign me up. I was on board with her. Like, even when she was off, I'm like, oh my God, no! How could you get rid of this? This character is amazing, and of course they brought her back from the parallel universe.
I do like it. She's been a bright spot in Discovery. I'm not the biggest Discovery fan, but I don't hate it. There's been some really good spots on it, and she's probably been one of the best bright spots of the whole series.
Really? See, I've been this Discovery fanboy from like minute 1, like the very first episode. I've been Discovery. It'd be Discovery. And again, I'm talking modern era, like current era.
Right.
Discovery, Strange New Worlds, but kind of like not exactly distant, but not close to it either. And then Picard, right? And those are the 3 that we're basically playing with at this point.
No, see, Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks for me are my top 2.
See, Lower Decks, I watched a few episodes, but it's like I probably have to keep watching it to like get into it. But it's hard for me to get into cartoons. I mean, as much as I love cartoons, but it's tricky for me, and I don't know what it is.
A lot of it too. The guy that makes it, I mean, Lower Decks is written almost as a love letter to all of Star Trek. There's so many references to Star Trek in there,
and I like that. I like the humor.
And if you're not as familiar with Star Trek, you're not going to get all of the references that are in it. So you're going to see people that are huge Star Trek fans just laughing their asses off at the thing, and you'll be like, "What? I don't get the joke." So I do understand that to a degree. It might be a little more esoteric for casual fans, but it's a fun show. It's been really hilarious in my opinion.
By the way, thank you, Daz, for following. Appreciate the follow. So anything else to say about season 3 before we start wrapping up TLDR?
Real quick, the references to First Contact have been in abundance in this season. The showrunner for this season, Terry Matalis, is a huge First Contact fan. The biggest reference that was in this episode was when we get to see Worf finally, and he's there. He's rescued Raffi. He's doing his martial arts yoga exercises, and the opera music that's playing right there is not only the exact same music, but the exact same timestamp that we get from First Contact when Picard is in his quarters and Riker comes in to give him a report from a nebula they went to go scan before they went to go attack the Borg.
Really? I had no idea.
Yeah, exact timestamp too.
Wow.
You go back and listen to them exactly. And I've watched First Contact so many times that I have just a little bit in my head. I have no clue what the rest of the music sounds like. I just know that little bit, and so I recognized it immediately when they did it.
Wow, that's incredible.
And of course, the end credit music is basically the First Contact theme that's being cut up and condensed.
It sounded familiar, and I enjoyed the end credit score.
First Contact has some of the most beautiful music in all of Star Trek, honestly.
Interesting.
Jerry Goldsmith.
I guess I've never listened that intently.
But yeah. There's been a lot of other references. They used his command code in the first episode, 47 Alpha Tango, which is his command code in First Contact, and
right over my head.
other little references. I'm excited to see more because I love First Contact too. That's my favorite Trek movie.
Wow. I remember seeing it in theaters.
Yeah, I've watched it so much over the years that I know so much of that. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you helped lead this, or at least participate in the conversation around Picard. We'll do it again after episode 4.
Yeah, absolutely.
Potentially like time shifted so it's not as late as it is. Because I want to make sure that we give due time. So it may be good to stage like 6 p.m.
Probably I can't do it. Was at 6 p.m. your time, so that'd be 8 my time.
Oh, okay. So
I can't.
Well, maybe next week it won't run as TLDR won't run as late. I won't be as loquacious. Yeah. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for at least giving me an opportunity to talk about this stuff.
Thank you for letting me be on here and getting to spew my love for Star Trek and actually my enjoyment of this season. I'm actually very happy I'm enjoying this season of Picard because my God, the last 2 seasons have been terrible.
Even though I'm not a Trekkie, I would never consider myself one. I'm a fan of Star Trek. I'm not a Trekkie. I mean, I can geek out with you and I can tell you, here's what I liked and here's why, and all that. But I couldn't go into as deep into the weeds as you have.
No, I appreciate it and I enjoyed it a lot.
Awesome. Well, we've now been for TLDR now geeking out. Oh my God, 3 hours. This is a banner episode. One for the books. Glendon, anything to add?
No.
He fell asleep.
No, I didn't fall asleep.
You're watching the tornadoes, aren't you?
No. It seems like we're clear now. So
for today.
And Glendon, for today. You only need 3 episodes in to catch up on Picard.
Well, I
haven't finished season 2 yet.
You don't need to. It's all right. You don't need to.
Yeah, okay. You don't need. I mean, I'll say it. You don't need to. I mean, you can. So far, you don't need to. There's honestly, season 2 didn't even really feel like it wrapped up.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I don't like the way they did the Borg there. I really don't. I thought it was annoying. I don't like everything they did in the past. Felt like a trope. I could go on. I'm not going to.
No worries. I'm going to wrap up at least the recording here. Thank you everybody for watching, tuning in. Of course, the 24/7 Geek Out continues 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at live.pirillo.com. Gotta hover my cursor over the right icon so I can end it properly. We'll see you later.